It's Wednesday night after a long day, and the last thing you want to do is cook dinner from scratch. But you still want a satisfying, tasty meal without the guilt? Enter your freezer's sidekick, Cauliflower. From thin and crispy cauliflower crust pizzas to all-natural white meat chicken tenders and more, Cauliflower is gluten-free always, satisfies every craving, and is ready in minutes. Cauliflower is available in freezer aisles nationwide. Visit eatcauliflower.com/where-to-buy to find a store near you.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on this podcast do not necessarily represent those of the podcast, its creators, or sponsors. If you would like to discuss a missing persons case on this podcast, please be sure to visit missingpersonspodcast.net. This episode may contain unsettling or disturbing subject matter. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Missing Persons, a podcast dedicated to spreading the word about people who have vanished under mysterious or unexplained circumstances and the family members who are looking for answers. I'm Jess Betancourt.
And I'm Mike Morford. Together we created this podcast to help give a voice to people who continue to look for their missing loved ones. In some cases, even after decades have gone by. In each episode, you'll hear from Jess giving listeners the backstory and the basic facts of the disappearance.
Then Mike will speak with someone who's intimately connected to the missing person, and his guest will share their story with us.
Please stay tuned at the conclusion of this episode to hear about our Patreon program and our commitment to help find people who have gone missing. We'll also share with you where you can find more information and how you can join our team and help our efforts. You'll get recommendations for other podcasts we think you'll enjoy, and more.
So sit back and enjoy this episode, and who knows, maybe you can help us find someone who's missing. Episode 15, Jared Hanna. Jared Edward Hanna was born on May 27, 1983. In 2011, he was 28 years old and living in Jerseyville, Illinois. He was the custodial parent of his two young daughters, ages 3 and 6. He and his girls lived with Jared's sister Heather, who is our guest today. Jared was last seen at home on July 2, 2011. When Heather left the house that morning, her brother was sitting on the couch. The next confirmed sighting of Jared was on a security camera inside of a food mart in Jerseyville at approximately 11:45 a.m., purchasing a soft drink. Cell phone records show that at 12:15 p.m., Jared's phone pinged from a cell tower in the East Alton area, and then it moved to Centralia. The family got a phone call around midnight on the 4th from Jared's ex asking where he was, since he was late to pick up their daughters from a weekend visit at her home. It was totally out of character for Jared to neglect his parenting duties. He also did not answer his phone or respond to texts. His phone went straight to voicemail. It's unknown whether it was dead or turned off. And the final ping from his cell phone put him in the rural area of Centralia, 2 hours away, at 9:30 p.m. on the 2nd. When he spoke via phone to the mother of his two daughters who had them for the weekend. It is not known what was said in this phone call, as the girl's mother has spoken to police, but not to Jared's family. After that, the phone left no digital footprint. The next day, July 5th, Jared's mom received a call that the truck registered to her had been located. It was found by a Clinton County deputy who said it had been there for a couple of days. The truck, a white 1990 GMC Sierra, was found on Joliffe Bridge Road. This was in rural Clinton County, 95 miles from Jared's home. The truck was pulled off the road. Reports are that the truck had run out of gas, although the fuel gauge was working. Police were able to locate some witnesses who may have seen Jared. A driver believes they spotted Jared walking around midnight on July 3rd, a mile or two from the vehicle, walking toward the truck and away from Centralia. It is also believed that he knocked on the door to the trailer home of an older couple on College Road near Centralia, 1 to 2 miles west of where the truck was located. According to this couple, Jared asked for a drink of water and directions to Centralia, about 3 miles away. This is reported to have occurred on Sunday, July 3rd at 8:30 or 8:45 a.m. This is the last sighting of Jared, although it is unconfirmed, and the couple who supposedly saw him were unclear about what direction Jared went after that. He was not captured by the video surveillance systems of any gas stations in the area. Jared's mother reported him missing to the Clinton County Sheriff's Office on July 5th. Jared's family is not sure why he went to Clinton County, Illinois that weekend. They believe he may have been in the area to go fishing, as his fishing pole and tackle box were found in his truck, and the bait that he kept in his home refrigerator was missing. They think he also could have been in the Centralia area to check out a vehicle he was considering buying, as he was in the market for a car. Jared did have contacts in the area. He had worked there for a week during the previous year in his capacity as an employee of Oros and Bush Application Technologies in Weldon Spring. It is thought that perhaps he returned to the area to meet up with some people he met when he worked there. Some witnesses reported seeing Jared at 2 bars in Alton, Illinois, an hour and a half west of Centralia, on the night of July 2nd. These were the Big Muddy Pub and Norb's Tavern on State Street. Those sightings have not been confirmed, and law enforcement does not believe that the sightings were of Jared, although he did often go out in Alton. Police initially assumed Jared had just left of his own accord, and were slow to organize searches. The family pushed for searches of Jared, and volunteers on foot, ATVs, and horseback combed the woods and farm fields near where the truck was found, in difficult terrain filled with brambles and dense forest. Tracking dogs were brought in a week after Jared's disappearance, but they could not find a scent near the truck. No trace of Jared was found. Then, in the fall of 2011, a black duffel bag belonging to Jared was found about 1.5 miles from where the truck had been found. This was along Crooked Creek, southwest of the Joliff Bridge Road, north of West McCord Street, in the northwest side of Centralia. It was sitting underneath a deer stand behind the trailer park where Jared had asked the couple for water. Authorities believed the bag had been there since Jared disappeared. Inside the bag were personal items including the keys to the truck, a camera, tools, a change of clothing, Jared's wallet containing his ID, and his cell phone. No forensic leads were uncovered from the bag, officials said. They were not able to lift prints from it because it was wet and muddy. Tracking dogs were not able to locate Jared's scent in the area. Disturbingly, there was no SIM card in the phone and no SD card in the camera. Heather says Jared would never have removed those things, but someone trying to obscure his location might have. Jared's family does not believe that he would voluntarily disappear. He has no known drug problems, mental illness, or infirmities, no disputes with anyone, and he would not leave his children. Heather says that the family has heard rumors that someone killed Jared. Police have questioned people who were rumored to have harmed him, but have not been able to gather sufficient information to charge anyone. Jared is 5'7" tall, 195 pounds, and has black hair worn in a buzz cut, brown eyes, facial hair, and scars on the back of his head and on the heel of his right foot. He was last reported to be wearing a dark-colored t-shirt, jean shorts, white tennis shoes, and a silver necklace with a cross, and possibly a Budweiser baseball hat. But Heather says those clothing items were found in his bag. Clinton County Crime Stoppers is offering a $5,000 reward for information that leads to Jared's whereabouts. Anyone with information regarding his whereabouts is urged to call the Clinton County Sheriff's Office at 618-594-4555 or the Jersey County Sheriff's Office at 618-498-6881. Mike Morford sat down with Heather Hanna, Jared's sister, for Missing Persons. That conversation is coming up after a word from our sponsors.
It's Wednesday night after a long day, and the last thing you want to do is cook dinner from scratch. But you still want a satisfying, tasty meal without the guilt? Enter your freezer's sidekick, Cauliflower. From thin and crispy cauliflower crust pizzas to all-natural white meat chicken tenders and crowd-pleasing snacks, Cauliflower satisfies every craving. Cauliflower's products are your favorite comfort foods, but made better for you and gluten-free always. The best part? You don't have to sacrifice taste or time, so you can honor your cravings without compromising. Craving pizza? You can enjoy Cauliflower's delicious margarita pizza for only 370 calories for half the pizza. Looking for easy snacks that kids and adults alike will love? Cauliflower's baked, never fried pizza snacks are nostalgia reimagined and ready in 5 minutes. Cauliflower's products are available in freezer aisles nationwide. Visit eatcauliflower.com/where-to-buy to find a store near you.
Let's be honest. Most of us have a love-hate relationship with wired bras. We love the lift, but hate the digging. We love the support, but hate feeling trapped. Well, Knix just changed everything with FreeFlex, a wired bra actually designed to work with your body, not against it. FreeFlex features a revolutionary flexible wire that moves when you move, bends when you bend, and keeps everything exactly where you want it. No poking, no stabbing, no constant readjusting, just freedom to move. It also has a demi-cup shape for a natural lift with a lower neckline that flatters in everything from V-necks to dresses. And because it's from Knix, it's available in sizes for every body. Experience the first wired bra you'll actually want to wear all day. Visit Knix.com for 15% off your order with FreeFlex15. That's KNIX.com, code FreeFlex15 for 15% off. Knix.com.
Hi, Heather, and thanks for joining us on Missing Persons to discuss your brother Jared's case with us.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me.
To start off, can you tell us a little bit about Jared, what kind of person he is?
Jared was a very fun and loving person. He always the jokester, always pulling some kind of trick on somebody.
Was he a sort of a comedian type?
Kind of. Never know what he was gonna do.
Were you close with him?
Yes. My brother and his 2 kids had been living with me for 3 years before he went missing.
And speaking of him having kids, what was it like for Jared to become a father? How was that? Was it a life-changing experience for him?
He loved the kids, yes. Always making sure they were taken care of, worried about them being taken care of. That was one of the reasons why he moved in with me with them for a while.
And how old were his kids when he went missing?
They were 3 and 6.
Was the mom of both daughters the same woman?
Yes.
Okay. And what was their relationship like? Did he have a rocky relationship, or were they on good terms or friendly?
Rocky relationship.
Did they ever get married? Were they married at all?
No.
Okay.
No.
And how was it that Jared got custody of them?
She had some drug issues and mental issues, and DCFS took them away from her and gave custody to Jared.
Okay, because of his stability and her
yes.
illnesses she was dealing with. Okay, so they'd be in better hands. So we read on the night of July 2nd, 2011, that Jared made a phone call to his ex around 9:30 p.m. Do you know what he said to her, and did he provide any details of what was going on to her?
No, not really. She's given us several different stories, so we really don't know what was actually said, if she actually talked to him. We don't know if he called her or she called him. I'm not sure. I don't remember how the phone records were. I don't think they actually told us who made the call.
Okay. And
that was one of the last phone calls.
That was one of the last calls, was to her?
Yes.
And has she cooperated with police as far as you know and talked to them?
I know she talked to him in the beginning on the phone, but beyond that, I don't know what else they did with her.
Do you know if Jared's phone was turned off or went dead or something after that phone call?
But there were no other phone calls after that, so it either had to be dead or off.
All right. And is that something that they were trying to work on figuring out and they weren't able to? Do you know?
No, I don't believe they were doing anything with that.
There were reports of a driver who believed they spotted Jared walking around midnight on July 3rd along the road where his truck was found. But we've read just different reports as far as distances and directions he was heading and stuff. How far was he from where that truck was found when he was supposedly seen?
Maybe a mile or so, maybe 2. I'm not good with distance.
But can you confirm that he was walking towards his truck or away from it and away from Centralia?
I believe it was towards the truck, away from Centralia.
Okay. And it's been reported, too, that he may have knocked on the door of an older couple on College Road near Centralia on July 3rd, shortly before 9 p.m. at night. Do you know if that's accurate? And if so, how far was that home located from where his truck was?
And I hadn't heard that one. Supposedly on July the 3rd in the morning, he got water from somebody that was a mile or so, mile maybe 2 from the truck to the west of it.
Okay, and I actually misspoke. I think I said 8:30 or 8:45 at night. It was actually in the morning.
It was in the morning.
Okay. And do you know if he asked those people directions?
They said he did. And then said I don't know, we've had conflicting reports on that he took off walking northeast towards the truck and then also southeast towards Centralia. So we're not sure what direction he actually went.
That's got to be frustrating to hear like different things and not be able to put them together properly or not have the full detailed correct stories. And do you know, at the very least, were they able to confirm that he was carrying a gas can with him when they saw him?
He never had a gas can with him.
Never had a gas can, okay.
No.
And there were, I guess there was another witness that said on July 4th that a witness saw him at night near the truck. And other witnesses saw him in the morning not far from his truck. Do you know if any of those eyewitness sightings are accurate?
No, we never had confirmation.
When was his truck found? Was it found actually on July 4th or on the 5th? And who found it?
It was found, we were notified it was there on the 5th because we got a phone call at midnight on the 4th telling me he never picked the kids up. And did I know where he was? And on the 5th, my mom and stepdad, because the truck was registered to them, got the call that it was sitting down there by a Clinton County deputy that lived down the road. And it had been there, I guess, for a couple of days.
When you got that call, was that scary? Did you think something was wrong right away?
Oh, we knew something was wrong right away when he didn't pick the kids up.
Had he ever done that before?
No.
And he wasn't the type.
No,
he wasn't the type that would just run off for a couple days and then just show back up without telling people where he was.
No, he would not.
And just a couple questions. You mentioned the truck was owned by your mom and your stepdad. Some things about that. Do you know if the fuel gauge was working in the truck?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Because a couple people mentioned that it didn't seem likely to run out of gas because it was backed into a spot as opposed to running out and just pulling over to the side of the road. Was there ever any indication that Jared was seen at a gas station?
I had somebody come forward recently that said they saw him at one in Centralia, but it was never confirmed because we checked those tapes right after he went missing for somebody on a camera, and we never saw him on those cameras.
And that had to be very disappointing too.
Yes.
And assuming if he had car trouble or ran out of gas or whatever may have happened that caused him to leave his truck there, was he the type of person that would have accepted a ride from someone he didn't know?
I don't know that he would have done that. And he had his phone charger with him. So if the phone was dead, I don't see why he didn't charge the phone.
Yeah. Do you think his logical thing would have been just to call one of you to help him if he was out of gas or had car trouble or anything like that?
Yeah, and he knew a guy that lived down in that area, so he would have called him, I would have thought. He worked in that area for a little while, too, so.
So he was familiar with it as well. It wasn't like he was in a strange
somewhat.
area. Okay.
He worked down there for about a week or so.
Okay. When was it officially Jared reported missing, and who reported him missing?
July 5th, and my mom had done the report.
So this is after they let you know, hey, we found this truck, and then
yes.
She did the report right away.
She filed the report down there in Clinton County.
And we've read a lot of as far as searches being conducted. Do you know if they used any kind of tracking dogs to try and find Jared?
The first time we had dogs brought in was a week after he went missing, and we had to fight to get those brought in. And they didn't pick up anything around where the truck was, but it had also rained the week after he went missing. But it took us a week to get them in there. And then they brought dogs in a few days after his bag was found. And we took them in, and then I think they've had him out there a few other times in some other areas, and they've not come up with anything.
Have they done volunteer searches as well, or any kind of helicopter searches and any of that kind of stuff?
When a friend and I scheduled the first search that we did, we had a plane that went up for us and was searching any abnormalities in the ground or anything that they could see. And after that, nothing.
And that must have been another frustrating thing to not have anything show up after all that effort.
Yeah. Yeah, because we had a lot of volunteers out that day.
And what was the terrain like that you were looking at? What kind of stuff did you have to go through?
Very rough terrain, a lot of briars, and it was muddy in a lot of areas too. I do remember that much. A lot of hills up and down in gullies and ditches, and it's not an easy terrain to go and walk.
And you don't think there'd be any reason for him to try and make that walk to go anywhere on purpose, right?
Not back in those woods, no.
Did he suffer from any kind of mental illness or anything that might have made him disoriented?
No, he didn't.
No head injuries of any kind, anything like that?
No.
It's Wednesday night after a long day, and the last thing you want to do is cook dinner from scratch. But you still want a satisfying, tasty meal without the guilt? Enter your freezer's sidekick, Cauliflower. From thin and crispy cauliflower crust pizzas to all-natural white meat chicken tenders and crowd-pleasing snacks, Cauliflower satisfies every craving. Cauliflower's products are your favorite comfort foods, but made better for you and gluten-free always. The best part? You don't have to sacrifice taste or time, so you can honor your cravings without compromising. Craving pizza? You can enjoy Cauliflower's delicious margarita pizza for only 370 calories for half the pizza. Looking for easy snacks that kids and adults alike will love? Cauliflower's baked, never-fried pizza snacks are nostalgia reimagined and ready in 5 minutes. Cauliflower's products are available in freezer aisles nationwide. Visit eatcauliflower.com/where-to-buy to find a store near you.
Let's be honest. Most of us have a love-hate relationship with wired bras. We love the lift, but hate the digging. We love the support, but hate feeling trapped. Well, Knix just changed everything with FreeFlex, a wired bra actually designed to work with your body, not against it. FreeFlex features a revolutionary flexible wire that moves when you move, bends when you bend, and keeps everything exactly where you want it. No poking, no stabbing, no constant readjusting, just freedom to move. It also has a demi-cup shape for a natural lift with a lower neckline that flatters in everything from V-necks to dresses. And because it's from Knix, it's available in sizes for every body. Experience the first wired bra you'll actually want to wear all day. Visit Knix.com for 15% off your order with FreeFlex15. That's KNIX.com, code FreeFlex15 for 15% off. Knix.com.
And you mentioned a moment ago a duffel bag that was found. Were you and the police, after finding the duffel bag, sure that was his duffel bag and the stuff that was in it was his?
Yes, it had his ID and wallet in it. And I just actually recently went through it again about a year ago and discovered the truck keys were in there. His wallets were in there. His cell phone was in there. His little camcorder that he carried with him was in there. The description of clothes that we had him in when he went missing, those clothes were in there also.
As far as the amount of stuff in there, did it seem like stuff for like a couple days, or did it seem like stuff for like a extended getaway, like a week or something like that?
Just maybe a night of change of clothes for the night or something.
So not a long trip.
No.
And where in relation to his truck was that bag found?
It was found about a mile or so from the truck by the creek directly behind the trailers where he asked for water.
So it's almost as if he possibly carried that bag there, sat it down, and walked away, and whatever happened.
Or someone did.
Yeah. So he either walked away or someone took him away, one of the two.
Yeah.
You mentioned going through the bag again. Did police look it over and choose not to keep it in evidence? They just gave it right back to you?
No, they have it in evidence.
Okay.
It took me several years for him to get it out for me to see it again.
So you got to sort of look at it in the evidence room.
Yes, again.
Yeah.
Because the first time I saw it all, it was laid out, drying out because everything was wet.
Have they found anything else of his besides that bag full of stuff?
Nope, that's it. That's all that was missing.
Oh.
And there was no SIM card in the phone, and there was no SD card in his camera.
Was that something, did that stand out to you? Is that something he would have removed himself typically?
No. He always had a card in that camera because he always had it going.
Taking pictures and stuff.
Yes. Driving everybody nuts with it.
And we've heard that Jared may have been an occasional user of drugs. Is that accurate, or is that something that's just rumor, unsubstantiated rumor?
If he was, I didn't see signs of it.
Not anything you witnessed, not anything you knew him to be.
No, because he knew he wouldn't make it very long if I saw it.
And I guess that's one of the tough things, because when you're reading stuff about these cases, you start seeing rumors and people saying, well, I think this, or I heard this. One of the things, rumor-wise maybe, was that he owed someone money. Could he have been meeting up? In your mind, is there any chance he could have been meeting up with anybody to settle something like that up, or anything along those lines?
I don't know. All we know is that we know he called about a car down in Centralia on the 2nd. And I knew he was looking for a car. And he had his fishing equipment with him. And it was still in the truck, but the bait was gone. So we knew he'd been fishing somewhere.
So maybe he had gone fishing and then come back on his way back or something without the bait.
Yeah. And we were told that he was spotted in a couple of bars in Alton. And usually if he went out, Alton was his go-to where he went.
And there are also rumors that Jared went to meet someone besides something for a car or whatever it was, and he was set up and killed. Again, these are people spouting out stuff that may have no accuracy. Do you believe that's a possibility?
I believe anything's a possibility at this point.
You're willing to consider any kind of possibilities? Yes. And yeah, there were, I mean, that's the sad thing about these cases is when they're online and people start, speculating and people come forward and say, well, I heard this, I heard that. It's, it's all hearsay until you can prove something. How frustrating is that for you to continually hear all that stuff that doesn't lead anywhere?
Very frustrating because we haven't been able to prove anything we've heard yet.
Have you heard any rumors of any kind that your brother was definitely dead?
Not really. Well, yeah, we have actually. Sorry. Starting to think back on those. Yeah, we've had a couple of rumors where, he had been killed. But he would have never voluntarily left his kids either. So we know something had to have happened for him to not go get them.
Yeah, there's very detailed, unsubstantiated rumors about what happened, but until there's any proof, then that's all hearsay.
Yeah.
Has law investigators or law enforcement looked into any of these possibilities or talked to any of these people that have been coming forward with this kind of information?
They say they've talked to them and they're just not enough information.
How satisfied are you with the way the investigation has been conducted up until this point?
In the beginning, we weren't. He's 28. He took off on his own. And we kept trying to tell him that no, he would never leave his kids. He wouldn't take off on his own. And I feel like things weren't done that should have been done in the beginning. It should have been them arranging the search right away, and it wasn't.
So you feel maybe early on they just said, okay, he's an adult, he ran off, and that's it, end of story.
Yep.
Was there a point when they started thinking, okay, maybe that's not the case, maybe there's more going on to this?
When we started going down and searching all the time ourselves.
And they started sort of getting open to the possibility that maybe something else had happened to him.
Yeah.
Was your brother known to carry a gun for protection?
No.
Okay, so no idea if he could have had a gun to protect himself if he feared he was walking into any kind of
situation. No, I doubt he had one of those.
Just sort of to touch on the law enforcement thing, what have they not done that you'd like to see done going forward?
Right now, I don't even know what they could do at this point, other than do the searches when something comes up and follow up on leads.
And just sort of do the best job they can trying to follow all that stuff up and narrow things down.
Yep.
What's been the most frustrating part of this whole ordeal, after all these years? What stood out to you as the thing that's the most troublesome to you?
We get searches scheduled, and then they cancel them and postpone them, and cancel them and postpone them repeatedly.
And did they give you a reason why? And
it always seems to be a hunting season, or they don't have landowner permission, but we've gone down and gotten permission and able to get on the properties just fine.
And I guess at this point, if you're out there doing searches, you're expecting to look for either remains or some of his belongings.
Yes.
And then hopefully, if you find any of that stuff, obviously you don't want to find his remains because that would mean that he's passed away. But maybe you do. Maybe you want to know that answer. I don't want to speak for you. What would you like to find out on one of these trips where you're looking?
I would just want to bring him home.
So at this point, even if he's dead, you'd still like to bring him home and give him a possible
Yes.
proper goodbye.
Yes.
Yeah. Any of Jared's closest friends and people that knew him the best, do they have any ideas or theories that they've shared that could be a possibility?
Honestly, the ones that were closest to him growing up, they have all since passed away.
So there's no one really left from his
No.
background to really talk to and see what they think.
No.
Based on everything you know and you've heard and you've learned in the case, do you have any theories of what you think is the most likely thing that happened to your brother?
I think something bad happened because I don't see him ever taking or leaving the kids willingly.
So one way or another, someone he knew or someone he didn't know did him some kind of harm.
Yeah.
And how hard has it been not having your brother or knowing where he's at all these years and not having him in your life?
It's very hard.
Are there times when you feel like it's hard to keep going on searching, but you still try and do it anyway?
Yep. Day's hard to move on, but you just have to get up and go.
Well, I know you've been looking for a long time, and that I can't imagine being in your shoes and having to try and hold out hope that you're going to find something that provides answers. But I hope after all this time that you finally do get some good news and find something out, so you have some kind of answers at least.
I hope so.
Well, I can't thank you enough, Heather, for coming on and talking about your brother's case. We'll do our best to share his story and get it out there so people know that he's still hasn't been found and there's people that miss him.
I appreciate it, Mike.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Missing Persons. If you can provide any information to help solve the case we discussed in this episode, we hope that you'll contact the appropriate authorities.
We hope that you'll tell your friends about Missing Persons and invite them to listen to the show. Word of mouth will really help us grow. And if you'd like to help us reach new listeners, please be sure to rate and review Missing Persons on the platform you're listening to us now on.
We'd like to tell you a little bit about our Patreon program. If you visit patreon.com/missingpodcast, you can sign up to help this podcast through ongoing monthly support. As a thank you, we'll give you an on-air shout-out, a thank you card and sticker, plus you'll get ad-free early access to every new episode of Missing Persons, as well as any bonus content.
Your Patreon support also goes directly towards helping the missing, because every dollar that we earn through Patreon will be split with two worthwhile causes that benefit the efforts to bring missing people home: CharlieProject.org and Private Investigations for the Missing. Your Patreon support will really go a long way towards helping. We hope you'll consider supporting the show. Just a reminder, new episodes of Missing Persons drop every other Saturday. If you want to find us on social media, you can search Facebook for Missing Persons Podcast. We're also on Twitter with the handle @missing_pod. And of course, you can always find us on our website, missingpersonspodcast.net. As we wrap up this episode, I'd like to play a preview of a true crime podcast I think you'll really enjoy. It's called Malice. Be sure to give it a listen. On behalf of Jess Betancourt, this is Mike Morford saying thanks, and we'll see you next time on Missing Persons.
Missing Persons is produced under the name AbJack Entertainment by Mike Morford and Jessica Betancourt. It's hosted by Mike Morford and Jessica Betancourt, with writing and research by Jessica Betancourt and editing by Mike Morford. Be sure to listen every other Saturday for an all-new episode of Missing Persons.
Hi everyone, I'm Ariel Cooksey, host of Malice. When violent acts occur, we tend to think the predators are monsters. Surely no human could do such things. But if we're honest, only humans commit malicious crime. And if you're like me, you want to know why. To find out, join me at Malice wherever you listen to podcasts. Bye.